So I have a battle report between my Beastmen and a Demon army. This is a beautifully painted Slaanesh-themed Demon list. I think it's really an interesting list and very, very powerful in its own way. These pictures were actually taken after I'd moved to my first turn because I had simply forgotten to take pictures at deployment. But not too much has changed. So let me go through the list. Here in the middle of the table, he's obviously has 2 units of Demonettes. Both have a Herald. The one on the right has the banner that subtracts 2 from my leadership if I'm within, I think it's 12 inches. And so that's a very nasty item, especially when combined with Pandemonium, which his Herald, that's in another picture coming up, is able to cast. So then he's got his Lord level demon here. It's a level 3 caster. I know he's got like 7 attacks with always strike first rerolls, strength 6 or 7. I mean, it's just crazy nasty. The unit in the middle has a Herald. I don't know what magic thing they have. So here on the left, he's got a unit of Seekers. There's a Herald there with the sword of you cannot take armor saves, which was very, very important later on, and I totally forgot about it. But he told me he had it the first of the game. And this is the one that can cast Pandemonium. Then he's got some Fiends of Slaanesh. This is on my left, and then on my right, he's got yet another unit of Demonettes and some more Fiends. So this is the same list I used in my last game. I've got a big unit of Bestigors, which really kind of my army revolves around. My Lord's in there with him. He's very killy. He's got a 1-up rerollable armor save, and every save he makes, he gets an extra attack. I've got a Gorebull Battle Standard Bearer behind them, and not sure what to do with them this game, but I certainly didn't want them anywhere except where the most important things were, and I didn't want them to get them baited out, so I just have them behind my lines. I've got a level 4 Shaman to the back right of my Bestigors. He's got Lore of Death. I've got 2 level 1s with Lore of Beasts by the Hearthstone and lower hand corner. I've got a Tuskgore Chariot on the right, a Razorgore Chariot on the left. That looks suspiciously like a Hydra. Here on my far left, I've got a unit of 26 Gores, and then I've got 4 Minotaurs, extra hand weapon, and a Champion and Musician. So when he moved his Seekers up, I went ahead and moved the Minotaurs up in easy charge range. My positioning's poor because the thought was to position the Gores so that if we were all stuck in combat, the Gores could countercharge on my next turn. But obviously that was kind of a fail from this angle. But I really wasn't that worried about it. I thought if the Seekers came in, they've got the fast calf special rule, so I'm thinking they're not, too tough in combat, and that my 13 strength 5 attacks from the Minotaurs should handle them nicely. So here in the middle, moved up. And on the right, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with chariots. That woods there in the middle is a venom thicket, so if you even move through it, you have to take a dangerous terrain test. So I'm trying to keep my units away from that. I put a chariot up on the hill to the right with my Gores behind it, really just because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I wanted the chariot to be able to help with the Fiends on the right-hand side, but it was just kind of a fail. Now on turn 1, I was able to cast the Lore of Death spell on his general, and I believe I did a wound on him. Other than that, it was uneventful. We go to Demons turn 1, and things got eventful very quickly. Number 1, he charged with his general and with one of his Demonette units into my Bestigors, and the Demonettes failed the distance they needed. And I don't know what that was, but it's what the odds were of making it. But anyway, they failed, so his general's in there alone, which isn't wonderful because I have a lot of static combat res. But his general's pretty tough, and he's high leadership. So he was very happy to take the bait here and charge his Seekers into my Minotaurs. I'm very curious to see how that turns out. Now this battle, I don't want to... I think I made a big mistake here. He came in, and when it came time for combat, he issued a challenge. And because with my Bretonnians, I hardly even think about it. I always accept challenges. I went ahead and accepted it for my general, because I was thinking, I'm 1-up rerollable, and every time I make a save, I get an extra attack. I bet I can fend off between toughness 5 and that armor save. I can fend off most of these things. Well, this guy in combat gets 7 attacks, rerolling to hit, rerolling to wound, and then he takes my armor save from a 1-up to a 5-up. So with 7 attacks this first round, let me just say he hit 7 times and he wounded 7 times. So here on the left, his Seekers made very short work of my Minotaurs. He killed 2 of them outright before I even had a chance to attack back. And I mean, it was just ugly. So lesson learned on Seekers. I will study them better next time. Now he had 7 attacks go through. I needed 5 up, but I had a chance to re-roll it, and I saved 5 out of 7 and felt very fortunate. And so my general's on 2 wounds. He has 9 attacks going back. It's my base of 4 plus 5 saved wounds that add to my profile. And with 9 attacks, I do 0 wounds on him. And I was somewhat disappointed with that. Now, what I really should have done is just refuse the challenge, let him retire my general, and I would have had 12 attacks going at him, re-rolling to hit, and strength 6. And I just, it doesn't make sense to risk the general. So, lesson learned. We'll see next time. So we'll go to Beastmen turn 2. This picture is kind of deceptive, but basically, if you look on the right, that Gore unit was trying to charge his Demonette unit that's in the middle of the picture. And from here, it looks like that's a really long charge, but if memory serves, I think I needed a 6. And so I had to charge the chariot that was in front of the Gores to get out of my way. So that chariot, it was facing towards the right, it charged his Demonette unit, which opened the way for the Gores to charge the other Demonette unit, the one in the middle of the table, and I couldn't get a 6 on 2 dice, so they failed charged. And I charged the other test score chariot in there because I thought certainly I would roll a 6 and get my Gores in their flank. And so I was bringing that test score chariot just to add a little bit more wounds. And it was a total epic fail. So now I've got 2 solo chariots going into a full unit of Demonettes. They're just going to get it handed to them. So yeah, that didn't go well. These Gores couldn't charge anything, so they just reformed and then did a swift reform and moved. They are not in combat with those fiends. There's another close-up. Yeah, that fail just really hurt. And as poetic justice would have it, the chariot got beat in combat. It ran away through my Gore unit, and the Gore unit failed its panic test and ran away. Yeah. So this time around, his general cannot re-roll to wound, but he still gets always strike first re-roll. So he has 7 attacks. And I want to say that 5 ended up going through, something like that. And that's against my strength 5. And I have 5 up re-rollable, and I save all of them, which was huge. I don't know what happened then. I think I did a wound or 2, and then through static combat res and a bad leadership roll, he popped. So huge break for the Beastmen, because that general was he could really cause problems. So we'll go to Demons turn 2. So you can see the Fiends charging to the flank of my Bestigors, and I'm not sure what the Demonette unit in the middle was doing. I want to say the Demonettes at the top of the picture again failed their charge, so they're just sitting there doing nothing. I know that had to frustrate my opponent. The other one, he did not charge them in because 1, I think he thought his other unit would make it, and 2, this is the one with the -2 leadership banner, so all he really cares about is keeping that banner alive, and he knows if he goes in combat, I'm going to try to kill the Herald. So I really think that's why he just let them hang out. So he moved his Seekers around to hit my unit. That's not looking good. I don't like, he's actually moving this unit around. Another thing he does, either knowingly or not, is he's opening himself up to now it's very hard to hide all these characters. I got 3 mages and a battle standard bearer that's just kind of hiding behind my Bestigors, and now he's moving around my flanks. So, yeah, he charged my, I don't know if he charged that Gore unit or not. Anyway, after combat, he killed a couple guys, but for the most part, we were able to kill one of them, but we couldn't pop the other one. I was really hoping we could pop them, reform, and I could get a charge on my turn, but that wasn't going to happen. That Fiend held us up. So what I did do was I reformed to face it so that on my turn I could kill it through combat res and then reform again. Otherwise, what you see are me moving my characters around to try to avoid some charges. So my level 1 Brave Shaman is one I'm most worried about. He moved up, he's in the top middle. I know that he can charge me with those Demonettes, but if he does, that means he's not charging my Bestigors. And more than likely, my thinking is I'm just going to run. If he charges him, I'll run. I'll pop through the Demonettes. His other Demonettes on the far right can charge me, and then I'll run away from them, and I can just hope for the best. But he's not going to win any combat, so it's really all I can do with him. My Battle Standard Bearer, I moved to the far left of this so that he couldn't be charged by either the Demonettes in the middle or by the Seekers, and I was barely able to do it, and he's still within 12 inches of the Bestigors. So that was nice. If you look on the left-hand side, the Gore unit in the woods, they tried to charge the Demonettes at the top and failed to charge. So here I have the Gore Bull. I'm doing everything I can. I've got -2 to the leadership because of the banner, and I'm having to take these tests so he doesn't have to charge. Luckily, I was able to make him. So other looks. So easily killed the last fiend. And then I just reformed so that the Demonettes at least would not be in my flank or rear. The Seekers can be. There's nothing I can do to keep, to make so nobody's in my rear. So we go to Demons turn 3. And his Demonettes at the very top charged my Brave Shaman. He fled. And they tried to redirect into my Bestigors and failed it. So they had to have another failed charge just sitting out there, which sets them up for a counter charge by my Gores. Then his other units of Demonettes charged my Brave Shaman, and he ran. Look where he is. He's the bottom left of this thing. He ran forever. Yeah. Otherwise, his Demonettes with the -2 leadership banner came to the front of my Bestigors. I was very excited to see that. And the Seekers came in the rear of the Bestigor unit, and I'm actually okay with that. My general was out of the combat the way it lined up, and so I did make way and put him directly in front of his herald. So my general's job is just to make sure that herald dies. At least that's what I was thinking there. So there's a close-up of it. This is, if you're looking towards my right, how he's bringing those fiends around the side. I'm getting to the point where it's going to be hard to hide my characters, and certainly it's going to be hard to keep them around that around that herdstone. So he issues a challenge. I accept it with the Bestigor unit and the Bestigor champion, and he slaughters a champion. And we do a bunch of wounds on him. I kill his herald in the Demonettes. The herald in the Seekers is the one that killed my champion, so he's still alive. So this is Beastmen turn 4. My Gore Bull gets a charge into the rear of the Seekers. My Gore charges the flank of the Demonettes. Very happy with how all that lined up. And keep in mind, too, the only reason my Bestigors are still here is because my general has the crown of command and made that unit stubborn. Otherwise, even with I did a few wounds on him, you can see the number of wounds he did on me. It was just crazy. But, thank goodness they were stubborn. So my level 4 rallies, my other two are still within 6 inches of the herdstone, but they're trying to move away from his units as much as possible. And this is where I just made a silly, silly mistake. I have 1 wound left on my general, so when his Seeker, the Herald in the Seeker's unit, issues a challenge, I accept it with my general because I was thinking, how tough can he be? I've got a 1-up rerollable. Well, he's got that sword that ignores armor saves, and I totally forgot about it. So he did enough to kill my general. It was just unnecessary. I could have accepted it with my Gore Bull, who has 4 wounds on him, very likely to survive, and accused my general just to whoop up on those Demonettes. And just a silly, stupid mistake. The Gores at the top did fairly well against his Demonettes, but he didn't lose too many through combat res, and so we're going to be hanging out there for a while. But after combat, my Gore Bull is now he's not in combat anymore, so he reforms. Otherwise, my Bestigors are as you see them, and I thought I reformed them. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. After that picture, I don't know. So on Demons turn 4, he charges one of my level 1s, and I flee, and then he wasn't able to do others, so they're just hanging out there, as you can see. I think the Fiends charged my level 4, and I just decided to take it, and he didn't roll. He failed the charge. And the Demonettes, I think, charged my level 1, and it ran away, and then failed charge on the other one, or couldn't redirect. Anyway, after combat, Bestigors made short work of the Demonettes. The Gores tore up the other unit of Demonettes. That was nice. They just really went to town. So on Beastmen turn 5, really not a whole lot to do. I rally my spellcasters that fled. The other ones just move away from the Hearthstone just to stay alive. I take my remaining Bestigors and face his Demonettes. Yeah, they're my level 4 at the bottom, level 1 on the hill. I think the other level 1 is still on the board. He's just back a little ways. And Bestigor is facing his lone Demonettes. Now the Demonettes are in that Venom Thicket, so every time they move, they have to take Dangerous Terrain tests, but they have poisoned attacks. So after combat, the Gors reform after their victory. Demonettes, the Fiends charge by level 4. I decide just to stand there, and he fails his charge. The Demonettes in the woods, he just reformed them. Then on Beastmen turn 6, in any kind of serious game, there's no way I would have charged my Bestigors into the Demonettes because I was winning the game and there was just no reason to take a chance. There's a lot of points tied up there. But it's, it's a fun game, so I charged him in and otherwise did, as you can see. Just kind of curious how that's going to pan out. I'm kind of getting low on Bestigors there. This guy blows himself up casting Wyson's Wild Form. So I have +1 strength and toughness, and it doesn't matter because he has poisoned attacks. And although you can see I did a lot of wounds on him, he did a lot of wounds on me. So it's kind of fun seeing that. But that poison was killing me because my toughness 5 just didn't matter. So we go to Demons turn 6. There's really nothing to do. He's only got 2 units on the board. So we're really just comes down to fighting. And with the poisoned attacks, it was just awful. He killed him and ran him down. So even with the point swing at the end, I lost a mage at the end and the Bestigor unit. I still won by 400 points, which kind of surprised me. I thought after throwing the Bestigors away that it was going to be a draw. But yeah, anyway, so it was a victory. But regardless, it was just a really fun game. Hope you enjoyed it.